Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've played the Kaiserreich mod, but recently it is updated for No Step Back, although it's for the beta patch of No Step Back, so if you don't have your game switched over to being on the 11.5 beta, it's not going to work. Let me just check out everything. Yeah, it's been a long time. If you're not familiar with what this mod is, it is a what-if scenario. What if Germany had won World War I? What would that be for the rest of the world? And it has so much lore behind it. Then it's an ever-changing lore, so even if you get used to it, things are going to change eventually. In this patch, mostly what it's doing is just getting used to No Step Back. So you got all this. Oh man, that's a whole lot of supply hubs, which is good because supply hubs are necessary. You can look around here. You can look around what's in the Austrian Empire, into Prague. I think, I feel like for the most part, these are just the supply bases that are in the already existing game. Although, no, because this one has a supply base there. Maybe it's because it's the capital. But yeah, it's a decent time. I'm going to be playing as a German Empire, just because it's been so long since I've actually played a proper game of Kaiserreich. Partially because I just stopped playing Hearts of Iron 4 to begin with, and also partially because I was getting annoyed with all the changes to the lore as it goes. Because, you know, especially right here, the fact that Nancy is not a part of Germany. It used to be, and it was not this nice straight line across from Flanders all the way over to the Swiss border. I just appreciated it. I thought it looked unique. I thought it looked interesting, but now it's a little bit more just like, you know, you look at this, you could almost mistake it for being the First World War if it wasn't for the fact that Luxembourg and the Ardennes are taken over by the Germans. But unlike that, let's just keep going. If you don't know how I play, I'm going to be doing this semi-roleplay. I'm not here to, you know, speedrun anything. I'm not here to get any achievements. I just want to have a good time because I'm going to college currently and I hate my classes, so I want to have a little bit of fun and I want to have a break. So we're going to play this as if we're actually Germany. There's a train coming by. I don't know what happened to my train brakes. I'm just going to let that go by. We got the victors of the Weltkrieg, quenched militarism, critical factories, population factor, war support. War support's pretty low. We don't want to, but surrender limits up from imperial pride. An open door that has to do with what happened to China, the poor bastards over in China. I'm not sure if you can even hear that. Let's see. As for our faction, we are the Reichspakt. Do not include Poland, but it's Reichspakt. Trains. Ah, that's actually thematic. Train. We got Lithuania, Lithuania, Ukraine, United Baltic Duchy, all inside of the Mitteleuropa sphere, the Reichspakt. We got Morocco, though I don't think they stick around. Middle Africa under Hermann Göring. I really hope that Middle Africa doesn't explode. Not necessarily because I need this territory, just because if it explodes, my frame rate's going to absolutely die. And we also have German East Asia over here, as well as Sri Lanka and the Maldives. Are you Ceylon? Wait, you're Sri Lanka, right? No, it's Sri Lanka, Ceylon. One of these places is Sri Lanka, I swear to God. But we got German East Asia sphere, which is mostly just the French and British possessions. The Dutch East Indies is still over here kicking. We still have the territory over on Papua New Guinea. And most of Micronesia is in our possession. But luckily it's not directly in our possession. It's under our East Asian... what would you call that? German East Asia. Remember then when these used to be, you know, written in German? You know, Ostasien, Deutsche Ostasien or something. Legation cities. Wasn't there a single little province up here? No, it's just German East Asia again. I remember the good old days of the Allgemeine Ostasian Gesellschaft. I remember that. That was fun. I think in this episode, we're not actually going to start playing. I'm just going to organize things in this episode. Look around, see what I can see. Because, you know, we got this new supply mode. The amount of supply hubs going to keep us well supplied along this border during the inevitable war. Got pretty good supply there. And decent supply throughout, depending on crises and other such things. We got national focuses, which I don't think have changed for a while, although, that looks much smaller than I remember it. Maybe they just widened it instead of lengthened it. Maybe that's it. So we could finish the 1934 Navy plan. We could go for military expansionism. State of the economy. Black Monday's going to hit us like a truck, but that's not happening yet. Or imperial restructuring. It's hard to say exactly what we should do. Obviously, we're the Conservative Party. I know Wilhelm II still in power. Zim's party. Yeah, it's mostly just our desire is to keep our position in the world. It's always hard to remember exactly what is what, because we got, like, over here. This is the Jerusalem. We don't own the Suez Canal in this timeline. It is Jerusalem, which has open borders and military access and independence, and it is an international mandate. The Ottomans. You know, honestly, that makes more sense than having the Germans own it, have the Ottomans own it. They were our allies. That makes sense. I remember at one point Germany owned Crete for some reason. And let's see, Malta is controlled by the French instead of us. And Gibraltar is owned by the Spanish. So outside of Morocco, we have pretty much no say at all in the Mediterranean. Meaning if we want to get any trade over to our East Asian holdings, we have to go around the Cape. What is that, the Cape of Good Hope? I believe it is. Which is used, or we could, I guess, send it by train through Middle Africa. Which, by the way, yeah, I think, just on like a side project, we should build some trains in Africa. Because there's not a lot of those. We also got this over here, under Festoon Division. And we have no possessions, if I remember, over here in the Americas to speak of. The French possessions, like this tiny island, has been taken over by Canada, as well as Labrador, taken over by Canada, which is now the Dominion of Canada, which is the British Empire in exile. We got the West Indies Federation taking over Allied possessions in the West Indies. It's funny. I mean, for consolidation reasons, it's nice. It's kind of weird that the French would give up their French holdings and the British would give up the British holdings inside of Africa, but, you know, is what it is. Like, Sierra Leone, Gambia? I'm trying to remember what was what. I remember playing as the French Republic. That was fun, trying to invade south of France. That was a good time. Oh, here we go. We got Djibouti, which is a extremely isolated location, and really it only serves for a naval base and an air base. It's great for, you know, trade interdiction and controlling the Red Sea. But if we ever get into conflict with the Ottomans, which we wouldn't in this game, but, you know, in real-world geopolitics, that's something you're worried about. If we ever get into an issue with the Ottomans, they would block us here, and we would block them there, and then no one would get trade anywhere. Except for there, I guess. But as for our situation, we need to watch out for the syndicalists. Those dang Cindies over in France and in Britain. Wonder who's going to join our sides. Username dicks out for Harambe. I still need to change that. I did it as a joke once for a game, a multiplayer game. You can only change it inside of your lobbies. As for us, let's see. Back to this. Either economy. Wait, state of the economy gives me political power. What? So we can either do economy. Experimental research gives industry and a research slot. Research slots are very important. These are 66, 35. These are some weird times. We could either do that or we could go for Imperial. I don't think we need to worry too much about military expansionism, especially if that's not the... Especially if we have the quashed militarism. So either state of the economy or military restructurism. Both give us the same thing. This one gives it to us faster. You get Easter Promise. Turn up into Easter Promise. Daily political power gain. Remove quash militarism. Problems with the Habstark. I don't know what that is. And 250 units of Carabina 98 Aufstoring B. And additional manpower. Investigate. Oh yeah, that reminds me. I always forget about intelligence agency though. Oh. It already exists. Fair enough. We need to focus pretty heavily on that because I want to be able to see what the French and the British are doing at any given time. In terms of research, I will usually do it like this. Research will be focused entirely on army concerns, or specifically now I need to focus on industrial concerns. This one would be focused on military concerns, but the biggest military concern right now is more production. This one would be on air power concerns. But again, that right now is focused on production, maybe even on synthetics, but maybe if there is in here like a 100% research bonus on industry, I would want to use that on this tech, because this tech is the most expensive out of any other tech. Is a synthetic oil. Well, these two. Synthetic oil in general is extremely expensive, so I'd want to spend it on that to get the most benefit. It's leaps and bounds ahead of anything else. So I would put you on construction, and then you'll be the Navy tech. There was one time in Kaiserreich where the tech tree was completely different. Now it's mostly the same, just with new models. Got, Weltkrieg heavy hull, improved heavy hull, dreadnought hull. Yeah, there was a point where like dreadnoughts were the standard of ships. Which makes sense, because if the Washington Naval Treaty didn't happen, it would make sense that there would be these hulking, giant ships rolling around everywhere. That's where the world was going before they had the Washington Naval Treaty. So we'll do that. That's fine. In civilian factories, we have 76, but I also know that we're going to have a serious issue with that coming very soon. Anti-air coverage of the nation is poor, but we're not getting towards a fight yet. So how about some civilian factories, like there and there. Some civilian factories in Brandenburg. Away from the front lines would be nice, somewhere like here and here. Then also military factories need to start being built. What are you taking up that? So bam, bam, something like that. Military factories can be in Bavaria. Spread them out. Do not have synthetic refineries yet. Those will be... depends on how well we can keep up our supply lines. If we can use our Navy to keep the supply lanes, presumably up this way, around Britain entirely, through here, down to Middle Africa, at that point I'd be able to get a sizable number of subject. Okay, not from Middle Africa. There's surprisingly little rubber in Middle Africa, but from German East Asia, I'd be able to get an insane amount of rubber. Not so much oil. Oil will have to come from somewhere else. Could have come from the United States, but the United States is going to implode, so maybe from... Go away, train. Talking about logistics, not about trains. How rude. We could have it come... It's a slow train too, so it's not even worth waiting on it. I could also get it from Azerbaijan, which is... Oh my god, how many times do you need to warn us that you're going by? You're going by the tracks right now. Who are you telling? Who are you warning? You son of a bitch, who are you warning? I will fight you. I will fight that train. Azerbaijan is protected by us, as is Georgia and the Non-Cuban Union. So Azerbaijan might be a good place to get oil from, but then it's a question of how do we get that oil back to us? Would we always have open access. We could ship it through Donkuban Union, through the Ukraine, through Ruthenia, through Lithuania, back to us. So that would be our route of how to get that oil. That oil! So that would be how to do that. I could focus on state of the economy. I'm kind of worried about my economy, especially when Black Monday is going to happen. Everybody knows about that Black Monday. But I think, for our purposes, Azerbaijan is probably the best place to get oil. No, not that much. Let's get about maybe 3, maybe 20, yeah, maybe 24 oil to come through. In terms of tungsten, Portugal's closer, but German East Asia, Middle Africa doesn't have enough. German East Asia would just provide us with more for a single factory, so that's better. And rubber we don't currently need. I could get, how many with one? Yeah, 16 with one or 16 with one. So keeping the routes from German East Asia, but we'll get it from Middle Africa first just because it's closer. And strangely, I don't need convoys. I have a feeling that's only because the current situation. So that was construction. Yeah, that's a decent construction build order for the moment. It's all going to go to hell anyway. And eventually, even though I'll keep putting it back, I do want to connect. I want to be able to connect some of the things here. So we got, right through there. And then where? It looks like 1, 2, something like that. In Africa. Trains in Africa. Everybody's favorite. This goes into Angola, but what if we can't get there? It's a question of how do we get things through Africa? Probably follow the river. Pretty sure rivers do actually provide their own form. But if I come off of here, 1, 2, 3. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, something like that. No. Could I just go straight across easier? Tends to be very zigzaggy. Here, boop, boop, boop. Boop. Just wanted to look like it makes some sense. You can go there, you can go there, you can go there. You can go there. Just straight across the middle. Straight across. Down here. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. Boop. Yeah, something like that. Just something so that no matter where it is, there would always be a train to it. And also, this fort has nothing. But at the same time, it is 20,000 to build a new supply hub. So I'm not going to do that. We can assume control. Trench with the entire... Hey. I can take over the East Asian and Middle African navies, but I need to be at peace for that. I might want to do that before war starts, but until then, I'm not really concerned about it, because then I have to train it, so I'm not interested. So here, we've got a couple of railroads to build, but besides that, we're probably fine. Modify the government. In what way? What can I change exactly? Early mobilization, can't do that, can't do anything there. Can't do anything there. Oh yeah, I can change these things. But also, yes I can, no I can't, yes I did, no I didn't. Got that. Man, they have a lot of options. We got, oh, that's a concern. How did they implement, they did not implement the officer corps at all. Did they implement, oh yeah, okay, so these are just the standards that come with the game. Oh no, the Bureau of Ordnance. Plus 10% torpedo hit chance, how funny. I wonder if America it's the minus 10% like it's supposed to be. So instead we just have a chief of staff, chief of army, Chief of Navy. And do they do give experience per day, good, because that's like the Officer Corps. The best thing that you can do with Officer Corps is that those members give you experience passively, and those are very useful in the interwar period. Also, yeah, I do play with the State Transfer Tool and the player-led Peace Deal mod. I just consider those to be, standard if I'm not playing for achievements. They are too important to me not to use. Got militia troops, which are... Hey, wait a minute. Milice troop. Maybe that's for, like, government garrisons? No, even that, it's done by cavalry division. Yeah, I have no idea what these are for. There was a point where there used to be a militia unit. Reset. Militia divisions, yeah, I guess it's just a militia, but it's also just regular infantry. Got infantry division, which is really more of just 3 regiments of infantry with nothing interesting in it. Which I would probably put as more of a, like, reservist division. Got a panzer division, which is just the standard panzer division from the base game. We have infantry with artillery, infantry with tank support, but that's just armored recon, so the amount of armor it gives is negligible. But also only requires 24 light tanks, so it's not terrible. How does that stack up? Self attack 56 to say standard infantry. Barely any additional self attack. Ooh. Slightly more armor, but a guard division just has an engineer company in it. Festoon Command is just 2 regiments of infantry with nothing special in it. Marine Sturm Division is tiny. Gebesjäger is also tiny. But 2 regiments is better than 2 brigades. Cavalry Division, yeah, very simplistic. That'll be good for anything. And this is also very tiny. Very, very, very tiny. Everything's tiny here. It's a question of what do I want to make, or if I even want to design any divisions at all. And oh yeah, that's right. I forgot that in Kaiserreich they implemented max supported divisions for the total number of divisions you can possibly have. Which means you don't want to make a lot of tiny divisions if you can help it. But at the same time, big divisions aren't really... Now, I think some people are still making big divisions. I haven't. But you could make like 40 width divisions if you still wanted to. But then there's a question of what kind of troops we got. Of all troops in all places. 80 divisions in total. Let's go through here. German Theater 1, you will be the European Theater. Spelled the French way. You will be the start of Africa. African Theater. Yeah, I'm not going to spell it the German way because I don't want to. You are Auslands Field Commando 1. Congratulations, you're in charge of all of Madagascar. I don't think you're going to run into any problems over there. It's just have fun. Then you're in charge of Djibouti. You're in charge of Djibouti. Just, chill. Chill in Djibouti. Anything else over here? Any islands? We got this island, which is close enough to where I would say that's in the African theater. Boom. What division are you? Festoon Commando 3. We don't have South Georgia. We don't have any support on Ascension. And that's not the most important thing in the world. We don't have anything on Reunion. We don't have anything on Mauritius, Seychelles, Diego Garcia. This is far enough away that I would say this is actually just going to be a new theater, being Indian theater, in case we have to get involved in Indian politics somehow. You guys just look after that base. Command base Ceylon, which would be a very good invasion location if we need to get involved in India. I don't think we will. Then out here, all of these possessions are explicitly controlled by German East Asia, so I don't have to worry about that. Then there's a question of where's the rest of my Festoon commandos? Yeah, here's another one. Where are you? Ah, Morocco. You're looking after Morocco. So that's the African theater. Look after Casablanca, please, and thank you. Then there's a question of what we need to do up in here. We have a sizable number of divisions that don't have any support at all. Sizable number of, let's see, these are the mobile divisions. Boop. And where are you located? Craft Dragoons. Just kind of all over the place. Not anywhere in particular. Let's separate out. What next? If we have any panzer divisions at all? No. Got cavalry, including the light. What is it? Lieb Cuirassier division. Greater something. Greater. My thing's in the way. Greater Kurfürst. I have no idea what that means. An independent Cuirassier division. Cuirassier. I have an idea. Wait, you're the King's Cuirassiers. You're the Graf Wrangel Cuirassiers. You're the von Dressen. You are the Herzog Frederick. Eugen von Württemberg division. Very nice names, guys. Very nice names. You are the Kaiser Nicholas I von blah 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 division. Okay, got it. Your royal divisions. Got it. Royal Dragoons. Here's Kraftwagen divisions. You are the Seeland division. No, you're the Oberschließer division. Got it. What else we got? Now it's just infantry left over. Well, I made these to separate them away from the regular infantry, but I guess they are the regular infantry. Question of what I want to do with all these troops in what positions. These cavalry, I feel like protecting the oil from Azerbaijan, just leaving a garrison over there in case something goes down, wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, even though I know from a gameplay perspective you don't have to, blah 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 blah. Just feel like leaving a garrison inside of Azerbaijan would make sense because we are, it's not just we're guaranteeing them and we have military access. Independence is guaranteed, but we don't have military access. So I can't even get over there. No, I'd have to go through Georgia. I have to go from Ukraine through Georgia into Azerbaijan. So maybe like a garrison in Baku, a garrison in Tiflis, to show that we mean business. We are protecting you. What other countries are we guaranteeing? Georgia, relegation cities, Azerbaijan. Oh, yeah, we're guaranteeing you, but we don't have military access. So that's a non-starter. Military access is Finland gives us military access and a non-aggression pact, but we're not guaranteeing them. I'm just thinking some of these units can be used for garrison duty, That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking especially the cavalry, because cavalry, on one hand, I'll need them for like a fast unit, but at the same time, we got tanks now. These cavalry divisions can be used for other things, is what I'm thinking. My stepfather's in the house because he broke his, it's actually terrible. He broke his wrist falling down the stairs. He had surgery on his knees, so he was in crutches, and he fell down the stairs, broke his wrist, cracked his hip. He is in severe pain. And while that is not funny, it is also kind of funny. I'm just gonna say that it's kind of funny. But now, so he's pretty much completely down and out. And as such, he's just in the house, and I find him very annoying. Because despite the fact that he has his phone on him 24/7, his number one modus operandi when it comes to trying to get people's attention is just to start yelling. Just start yelling upstairs or downstairs. Just start yelling. So I always have to listen out to hear if he's shouting at me instead of calling me like a civilized human being. This is an issue with people in this house in general. Right now, I'm setting up the armies that might go up against the French, or at least hold that position. Mulehouse, you and you guys should really get together as a proper invasion force. Let's see. There's no Maginot Line, at least not one built yet. There's a couple of defenses, but there's really not the same kind of like fighting force you expect. So I'll make this as a defensive army. As such, I want a field marshal who has good defensive stats. Offensive stats, defensive. Got August von Mackensen. I'm going to give him the cavalry. He's going to be in charge of the Death's Head, Hussars. And then we got Wilhelm von Pressen, which I think is Wilhelm III. But I definitely think this Rupert von Bayern, he should be in charge of the majority of the soldiers. And here, Erich von Manstein, Heinz Guderian, Walter Model. You two are panzer leaders, so I'm not going to give it to you. Gunther von Kluge. I think this army should be under Walter Model. This one should be under Aaron von Witzenstein. You, how about get you, Runstedt, in charge of the attacking army. This isn't anything special, it's just infantry and trucks. But I can give him somebody. Von Manstein, Panzer Leader Trickster, Hans Guderian. I could give you combined arms experts, but I'd probably prefer you to have the Panzer Leader. Nobody here has anything to do with anything else. Engineer for crossing. I think we'll give that to Manstein for now. And set up an attack position on right here. General plan being, in the case of a war, we'll go and attack Paris. You guys will go and fortify the border there. Maybe something will happen with Flanders, but that will not become viable. But, you know, we don't know if that's going to happen yet or not. Over here, you could probably just take care of Wilhelmshaven for now. Maybe it would be nice to have some defenses, or is it defenses if it's offensive? I don't think it is, but it's just forward defenses, you see. I want... You are part of the big army. Another force will be, you know... Oh, hello there. Now I want a force that just worries about the... I'm clicking on the wrong button here. I want one that just worries about the Austrian border. We don't need troops against the Swiss. They're not going to attack us. They can't attack us. I'll have another force here. I don't know. I don't think they do anything, but just in case they might. Over here. Another force, perhaps, against the... No, I did it again. Another army group to La Hoi chapter Poland. We could go all the way around, but I'll just worry about our positions. If things really heat up against the Poles, then we'll surround them entirely, but for right now, not the biggest concern. Boom, boom, boom. You guys have joined in. You, bam. You guys go there. And that leaves these troops, some of them being very advanced, very good units. They should join there. Most experienced infantry should. You go and protect the coast. Boop, 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 boop. Need at least 9 so I can send some of these other divisions. You have the tanks, so you should definitely be a part of some attacking army, which I think will be this force. Any division that exclusively has that will join him because they have tanks of some type. Anyone else? Anyone else? Yeah, all tanks can be in part of that force, including you. Because even though we're not really doing anything, it's just the Panzer 1 AF, although we'll get to that when we get to building tanks. You, so what I was thinking was, this is the European theater. But what about, I don't know, the Caucasus over here? Us. It's like Caucasus. Sus? I always forget how to spell Caucasus. Sus? Sussy? You're the lead Kaiser division. Where are you at? You're in Frankfurt. This force can be under August von Mackensen and his Death Head Hussars. I'm worried about these countries. Just sort of like sit on the throne of each place. You're the closest and the most important, so you go look after Vilnius. You look after Minsk. You look after Kiev. You look after... Oh, I can't... I can't set up a fallback line outside of their territory. But I can... What's wrong with you guys? Did that erase what I already did? I think it did. Shit. Of course it did. Can't make a fallback line in territory that isn't mine, but, you know, is what it is. You need to, I think it's B. Come there. Get on a boat. Get across. And then show up in Tbilisi. Yeah, at this rate, really not Caucasus anymore, huh? Same with you. Get over to Sevastopol, get on a boat. Get over here. And then just get a move on. And then these four go to Vilnius, Minsk, Kiev. Right there. Kiev and Riga. And just sit on their capitals. Although, clearly that's not going to work. The things I do that try to make sense of the world. You look after Riga. You Vilnius. You Minsk. You Kiev. You Kiev. Yeah, go ahead and do that. These troops can just be there. I won't give them commanders. They can just be under Commander von Mackensen. They're not going to get into a fight anyway. If they get into a fight, I'll give them a commander. You can have a commander. Anyone with... You have a commando trait and also winter specialist. Anybody with commandos? Any? Nope, just the one guy. Alright. Even though with a winter attrition thing, he'd be much better in charge of mountaineers. But I'll get you in charge of him for now. You can just sit in Wilhelmshaven for all I care. You can just have some guy. Yeah, you can have that guy. Some of these forces you can have infantry specialists. Have this guy. You can have that guy. You can have... How about everyone Kleist? That'll be fine. I don't care much about these outward things. Caucasus is not really a good name for it anymore. I don't know, puppets. Looking after puppets. Puppet garrisons. That would do. And now finally, we got a build order, we got all that. We need some production. We need a good production order. So all the things that we can make. Let's just focus on, say... that's not right. That definitely isn't right. Ah. close that, open it up again. Fulfilled resources. Things that don't have fulfilled resources would be that one thing. Got it. At the moment, let's just look at things to build inside of infantry. Gonna need trains now. Let's see. We don't have any armor cars to build yet. We can build towed artillery. No, towed anti-air. We can build... yeah, that's it for this. We don't need nearly that much on Mausers. We're not building that many Mausers to begin with. We're good on Mausers, as I remember. So we don't need that. Although, I do enjoy bringing back old material and bringing that in just to build a single factory. After about a year, like a factory that's building the old model and a factory that's building Infantry Equipment 1, it'd be the difference of about like one infantry division worth of equipment built in a year. So it's not completely useless. Now moving on to tanks, we got 2 factories on the Panzer 1A, although not really. So the Panzer 1A, it is not this design. It is not this design at all. This is just the design that came with the base game. The Panzer 1, in real life, no. First off, it didn't have riveted armor. It had welded armor. You can kind of see that. Although here they actually put a lot of welds on the model. There were some welds on it, but it was some rivets on it, but it was mostly a welded design, at least from what I can see, especially later models. It did not have the Christie suspension. It had leaf spring suspension, which would be a bit more like bogey. Can't even put in welded armor because I haven't researched it yet. It would have an engine that's a bit more like an engine 1, because 1 point of engine is worth 50 horsepower. The initial engine on the Panzer 1 had like 59 horsepower or something. It did not have over 250 horsepower. It's just absurd. And in terms of armor, yeah, have about an armor 1, and everything else would be about right. This would be more like a correct Panzer 1. Add in some welded armor. That would be a Panzer 1. I do not know why this tank design is so bad. It's the single most inaccurate tank design out of all the designs in the base game. Because it threw me off too. I categorized every single Panzer that was in the original game to see where the patterns were, and for the longest time I thought there was no pattern for engine, just because this design was so far off. But in terms of all the other ones, it follows the pattern. Just this one isn't. So I think I might switch out for like the Panzer 1C or B later. The Panzer 1B, for example, would be like an engine 2, welded armor, that, and everything else is about right. Or Panzer 1C would be for interleave road wheels with, I got pictures everywhere, more like 3 engine and 3 armor, something like that. Of course, welded armor again. But I might do that later. For the most part, it doesn't really matter. But the new Bauführerzug, that name cannot stay, because that name translates to new construction vehicle. And the reason why it's called the new construction vehicle is because interwar Germany, because of the Treaty of Versailles, couldn't have a tank program, so they named all of their experimental tanks with civilian names, like the light tractor, the gross tractor, and this one, the new Bauführerzug, which is pretty much just a gross tractor with more turrets on it, like 3 extra turrets. So that's pretty accurate. Let me double check. I'm pretty sure this design is pretty accurate. Yeah, I tend to agree. Although maybe it might need some welding there. You can see the rivets there. Generally, I'm just going to need to rename this. I'm not going to share that picture. Get pictures everywhere on my computer. I got a German translation. I got, instead of calling it the new construction vehicle, we'll call it the infantry Unterstützungspanzer. Translates roughly to infantry support tank, although that name it's probably butchered. It's probably not what the Germans would actually call a vehicle such as that, but it is what I am going to call it, the infantry Unterstützungspanzer. And I'm going to start building them because you would imagine that after the First World War, Germany would have somewhat of a mind to keep that like support vehicle idea in mind. So I'm going to keep that in there. Now, in terms of planes, we got BF-109, the HS-123, which is weird. It's weird not seeing the Junkers 87 in there, JU-87 as the close support plane, but that'll be fine. If anything, could use a little bit more and a little bit more attack bombers, naval bombers. I do need IW carriers here, yeah. Interwar carrier CAS, carrier naval bomber. Transport planes are extremely important with how the new supply system works, so that needs to be represented in there somewhere. And then strategic bombers can start being built now. It'll take a very long time. So coming back out of that, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10, 11. More than I can possibly give up, but I'll give that up. And that gets us down to the civilian train. All of those still need to be built. That's another 4 factories. You still need to be provided, but I'm getting it from German East Asia, so that's fine. And then there's the dockyards. What can we do with that? Well, we need to figure out the naval situation, don't we? We got this, the SMS Maine, Rhine, and Elbe, named after rivers. We got dreadnought hulls. Oh my god. Absolutely massive, slow slow vehicles. Surprisingly, only 2 batteries. There'd probably be more, but with the max speed the way it is, probably not going to happen. So then we have interwar heavy ships, which have battleships. They're battleships. Again, 2-gun designs. And then they have heavy wool, the first Bismarck, the Mackinson design, Mackinson York design, which is a bit faster. Max range is still pretty slow. Well, not very far. Max range on this is 450, pretty good. We got armored cruisers. That's right, it's still armored cruisers and protected cruisers. What's the categories again? Battleships, battle cruisers, cruisers, armored cruisers, improved cruisers, escort it's armored and escort cruiser. Then we got destroyers and submarines. Obviously. In terms of what our navy should be, it is definitely a navy built on protecting our trade between our colonies and here, especially with Britain in the way. So it has to do double duty. It needs to protect our trade, and it needs to successfully blockade Britain and France, which means they need to fight their navies. So it needs to be able to interdict trade, protect trade, and fight a naval combat. And we'll be fighting naval combat in relatively small quarters, where there'll be a lot of supporting aircraft. So it needs to be well armored, and it needs to have anti-aircraft guns for days. So looking at some of the things we have like the Vester class. It's got armor. It's got that. Doesn't have any radar yet. I think that'll be what we spend most of our early shipbuilding period on, is just putting radar on these vessels. I know one thing that I need convoys. Before anything else can go by, I need convoys. Boop, boop, and boop. Constantly building convoys. In the fleets. So we got this fleet, which has the Weser, which is that superior class. Elba was also a Weser class. And oh yeah, these planes, they need more fighters on them. But at the moment we don't have any more fighters, but I could split up this plane and have them go and join. Only 20 planes per is not good. It's not good. It's not good at all. So I can have you, like, join there. Have you split up again. Join up there. And then increase to 4. Really, I should have more bombers, fewer fighters. But at the moment, this is what we have, so this is what we got to work with. Similar situation over here on the Vesser. You guys can't perform missions when the carrier is docked in a port. How unfortunate. Maybe I should take you off and train you individually. That's actually not a bad idea. You go ahead and go to that port. You two go over to this port. And the fighters can just sit and wait. In here, it's a massive... We got 2 dreadnoughts in this one. Kaiser Wilhelm the Schließen. You could be upgraded, even. What is that? Dreadnought hold the Kaiser Wilhelm class. Okay, what is the major difference, mister? We have the Schließen class and the Kaiser Wilhelm class. Looks like the Kaiser Wilhelm just added another gun. Oh, did not mean to do that. And I don't think we need any more dreadnoughts. We have so many. We have so many heavy ships. What we really need is going to be support ships for the other functions of the Navy. We have the West African Fleet, which will be comprised of looking after the trade, especially the trade around the Cape of Africa. You are going to be needing trade that goes to the Red Sea and Indian Ocean. Then we have a U-boat fleet, which is entirely stationed back at home. Depending on the conflict, they will have to go to different locations. And they should also be separated by class. Because Type 2 class, well, this is a Type 3 class. The Type 2s alongside Type 1s. Type 1s are kind of, they're not good, at least in the base game, they are definitely not good at all. So what I'm thinking is, let's see, I might set these up off camera because it'll take absolutely forever. I'll need to figure out what exactly I want to do with them. But just know for right now, things that I want to build, I just want to build updated things. We already have 4 carriers, but you know, a couple new characters. The Graf Spee, never hurt nobody. Carriers are, maybe not even the good carriers, but then again, these carriers only have 20 guns. We can have converted heavy carriers or experimental heavy. Experimental hull. I want one that's cheap. Something with more hangar space. I want these ones for more fighting close to home in the channel where we are going to get hit by other planes. But then I want a cheaper design. Something like experimental carrier or heavy carrier. Bird heavy carrier design. What are you? I don't know what you are. If I were to build something like this, say hangar space, anti-air, secondary battery, and carrier engine 2, the cost is only slightly cheaper than the Vesser class. So I'm thinking, what if we brought that down? What if we brought that down? Again, only 400 cheaper than the Vesser class. We could use Vesser classes in some of our secondary navies because I actually like to use them for anti-submarine missions. I like to use them sometimes even for like patrol missions. They're very versatile crafts, so I think that'd be useful. It'd be better than using this converted heavy carrier. Which I wonder, could I convert other ships to that? So I need to convert those over. That's about half of my designs currently. I need more support ships. So, an improved escort cruiser. Let's see. Those are light guns, right? And then you have the Prince Heinrich class, 750 max range. That would be great for surface raiding, though I don't know who we would be surface raiding, because France and Britain don't have empires. We need a concise fleet that can invade Britain. That's what we need. So more of those. And I'm thinking more of... Wait, no. You are a heavy cruiser. Go away. Need more Aachen classes. And you have depth charges. I would like some depth charges. I would like some depth charges. I would like some level... Wait, what are these? Cruiser submarines. They have extremely long range. These might be useful, but they also don't have a number on them. Do I have any of these in my fleet at all? What are these? Weltkrieger type 1s. Weltkrieger type 1s. And you, Weltkrieger type 1s? Okay, maybe that might be useful. Long range. SMU. I don't know what those look. Cruiser submarines. I'd be interested in those for reasons. As for Aachen classes, let's say I want about 4 of those. I want about 10 of those, 10 of those, 10 of these. And then it's just a matter of placing it in. Like that. And then 1, 1, 1. Like so. We need chromium. Again from East Asia. Alright, can't modify the government anymore, can't do that, can't do that, can't do that. Yeah, I think we're in a good position now to get into the next episode, at least if I do all the Navy stuff off screen, because that's going to take another hour, I bet. So with that, thank you for watching, I'll see you guys in the first episode. Bye-bye!